2 minutes. Okay, I guess we should get started. Give me 1 second. I'll put on my camera. Okay. Okay, so I think we'll sort of get started. Thanks again for taking the time to speak to us. I guess the way we'll start is I'll give you a little bit of a background about the position and what we're looking for, and then we'll see if Hussam will have a chance to join. And then after that, we'll go through, your background and tell us a little bit about yourself, and we can go from there. Sounds good? Okay, all right. So, briefly speaking, Bank of New York Mellon, what we're looking to do is we're looking to create what we call, I guess, a center of excellence around automation. Basically, what we've done is a lot of people are using it for things like disaster recovery, failover and stay sort of operations in terms of, moving from one data center to the other. But now we're sort of looking to see what we can do to automate some of the more, manual processes that a lot of the team tends to do, right? So we're looking to do things like, health checks on the weekend, whether it's a daily health check or if it's something that's being done sort of once a week. But, those manual tasks where you're constantly logging in or checking something or running this process, et cetera, that's kind of what we're looking to see what we can do to automate, right? From the perspective of that, the way that it works is the bank is sort of broken into lots of little lines of businesses or silos. And the one that we sort of are looking to sort of add some controls around is what's called CMIS. It deals with clearing, it deals with markets trading, it deals with issuer services, as well as treasury services. So we're sort of trying to be that branch above all those little silos. And then ultimately, the automation tasks that people are doing within each silo, they can come to us for either standardizations. Maybe the team will do some of the tasks for them. Maybe in some cases, we're just sort of consultants to help them and sort of suggest directions, et cetera, et cetera. So that's sort of the thought process of that center of excellence and sort of starting to apply the same sort of view of how things should be automated. Right now, everybody sort of does their own thing and off they go and nobody knows what's going on. So we're going to try to see if we can sort of bring that together and sort of at least have some standards that people understand. The other piece of the group is also around monitoring. And the monitoring is something that Hussam sort of manages more so. I'll sort of be heading up the automation piece and he'll sort of do more on the monitoring. For monitoring, it's things like, same sort of thing, applying and giving tools to the production services teams to help them with their monitoring tasks. Things like, verifying, Splunk logs. We have a very rich Splunk environment where we're sort of doing things where we're checking the actual error messages against, the past weeks, sort of to verify if it's a new or old. Is it something that we should be worried about? Something to, to create some sort of baselines, right? So that you understand. Exactly. Exactly. So we use that for that. We also are sort of in the process of using App Dynamics, which is another very powerful tool. Again, we're sort of starting to try to dig deeper into it. It has a lot of capabilities, but initially we just wanted to start to try to not force is the wrong word, but to gently suggest that all the apps should be using App Dynamics in the instrumentation because it helps us to help monitor things like, is there a spike? Again, building that sort of baseline so that you can verify and validate that the application is behaving properly before you get to that point. Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Exactly. That's part of it. That's exactly what we're looking for. So exactly. So, and again, even with the app, we built a tool ourselves called the application monitor, AppMon. We're obviously big names here, but and it's exactly that. It's basically keeping an eye on all of these things, keeps an eye on, the cloud prober, it keeps an eye on the app dynamic stuff, it keeps an eye on the Splunk, and then all that gets fed into a glass that somebody can look at. And typically the idea is that if you can put it into Appmon, then that's something that can be handed off to the L1 support, the actual Linux in administrators and things of that nature, so that now you're focusing on the bigger pictures and the bigger tasks and helping sort of go down that road. So that's kind of the idea in the monitoring space. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. So from the perspective of background, the kind of things we're looking for, on the automation side is, sort of scripting. We use a tool called OneDesk for a lot of our automation. It basically OneDesk is a fancy orchestrator. You can sort of put in the modules that you're doing, whether it's, a Linux script that you want to execute. We have something we call App Engine, which is very Docker-like. So it's basically, allows containerization of processes. We have things, like Windows services. Ex- Exactly. It can trigger. Yep, exactly. Hmm. 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 Yep. Yep, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly. And but you also need to put the appropriate controls, obviously, because you don't want, somebody to put something in that's broken into the system. So, but yeah, exactly. Everything is, what can you do from end to end to make it easier for everybody to go. So with that being said, that sort of gives you the idea of what we're sort of looking to do and what we're, looking for. So if you want, let's start with, your background. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and what you're doing, and we'll drive the questions from there. Hmm. 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 Okay. So I see you talk about using Ansible and the scripts. What sort of are we talking Ansible CLI, or are we talking about Ansible Tower, or what sort of which one are you using? Mhm. Mhm. Um, okay. So again, why would you use one versus the other? Why would you use CLI versus Ansible Tower? Mhm. 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 Okay. And what are the major components of sort of creating a playbook that will work correctly? What are the components that you need to sort of put together in order to get something to work in Ansible? Hmm. Um, okay. How do you control access to the servers that you require to use in Ansible? Yeah. How do you control the access? Okay. All right. So let's say that for a particular application, I have a set of servers. Is there a way for me to properly configure my job or my template so that I can access a subset? And how would I do that? Yeah. So let's say I have a list of, say, 20 servers for a particular application, and I'm asking you, uh, listen, I need you to set up a new template within Ansible Tower to access a subset of those servers. How would you go about doing that? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Um, I see you've done some scripting. In which languages? I'm not. I'm just scanning through this right now. You've done some Python and some Bash. Okay. Um, so talk to me about maybe one of the more challenging Python scripts that you had to write, and what was the issue, and how did you resolve it? Hmm. 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 So tell me about a solution that you came up with that you use either Python or Bash for. Mhm. Mhm. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. I see Hussam has joined. I don't know if Hussam, you have any other questions you want to, I know
Um,
we're getting close on time. Go
yeah,
ahead.
just circling back on the scripting, right? Let's ask a specific question, right? So let's say I want you to find a specific process, right? So I have a Java process, right? And I want you to write a just a simple shell script based on the Java, the executable. Let's say I tell you the executable name, right? And I want you, to write a script that finds the executable, um, take a thread dump of the process, and then after you take the thread dump, I want you to create three thread dumps, package them into a zip file, and then stop the process, the actual Java process. And there might be more than one Java process. So how would you do that? And feel free to type in sudo commands on Teams. How do you find the process ID if I know the executable name, right? How do you find the process ID? What does the sudo command do? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yep. No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Sounds good. No,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely. We definitely appreciate your time talking to us today.
Mhm.
Pierre.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
all right.
Okay. Mhm. Yep. Okay.
Definitely,
All
I
righty.
appreciate feedback. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Pierre,
Thank you
I
very
think
much,
I have
Suresh.
a good idea. So,
Mhm. Okay. Mhm. Okay.
sounds
Okay.
good.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Suresh. We appreciate your time, and good luck, and we'll talk soon. Understood. Mhm. 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 Yep. Understood. Okay. All righty.
All right.
Great. Thank you very much. Mhm. Take care.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye.